Are you paying attention? With gold reaching all-time high prices, there's rumors out there that the US is going to monetize the gold value on its balance sheets to wipe out large amounts of debt.
In 1934, the Fed transferred their gold holdings to the Treasury and in return got this gold certificate. In 1973, that gold, which totals about 260 million ounces or 8,100-ish tons, was valued at $42. So on the books of the Treasury, right now the gold's worth about $10 billion. But in reality, with gold at around 2,900, those holdings actually total north of 800 billion.
People like Bear Gold CEO are saying that gold is becoming the global reserve currency for central banks. Here's the problem. Gold cannot work in the digital economy. Costco is actually asking if people want to cancel their gold orders because they can't fulfill them. South Korea has halted buys on its gold because it can't actually fulfill them. And people are continuing to find out that the Bank of London doesn't have the gold that they say that they do. What people are figuring out in real time is that 5,000-year-old money doesn't work in the digital age. Bitcoin is simply superior in every way.
Trump said the new oil is Bitcoin. I heard it.
Yeah. Well,
I get excited about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, we'll go back to this. It's like, so gold gets out competed. It's like, it's hard to store, right? It's hard to tell if you trust another custodian, if your gold's even there anymore.
Sure,
It's hard to send. So like, what if you had an asset that was easy, not just for like institutions and governments to like custody and keep safe, but like even individuals could, right? You can send it over the freaking internet, right? Instantaneously, speed of light, right? And it cannot be inflated.
In today's episode, we will cover why Bitcoin and not gold will be the global reserve currency backing the dollar. This is Dante Coke with Bitcoin Simply. Let's go. Gold is having its moment in the sun right now, and people are looking at clips like this from Ray Dalio in order to prove their point.
I also think that people don't have typically adequate amount of gold in their portfolio. In other words, gold, if you didn't have a view of the market, like the gold market, it's a very effective diversifier under the other portfolio, because when bad times come, gold is a very effective diversifier. So I think that having something in the vicinity of 10% or maybe a little more, 10 to 15% in the portfolio is worth giving some thought to. And when I say gold, some people might say digital currency and so on. I own some digital currency. I own some Bitcoin too. But in other words, debt is money and money is debt. And we have a problem. We have a supply-demand problem with it. And so a good diversifier for a typical portfolio is that.
For those of you who don't know how the gold markets work, let me let you in on a little secret. They don't work.
Okay, Sarah, I mean, how much gold is here?
This is one of 9 gold vaults that we have here at the bank. There's about 400,000 gold bars stored here, and collectively they're worth about 250 billion pounds, something like that.
What?
I know, it's a lot, isn't it?
I've got to ask the question, like, why do we have this here? How did it turn into, okay, the bank needs to hold this much gold? What was the process? Like, take me back.
So obviously gold's been used for quite a number of years as a form of money. First of all, gold coins themselves. But the problem with gold coins is they're actually quite heavy to carry around.
Can't flip it, though.
Exactly. So what people started to do was they would take their gold coins to a goldsmith, and the goldsmith would issue them with an IOU.
Okay.
And over time, people realised that actually using those IOUs to pay for goods and services was actually easier than actually going and getting the gold and lugging it around.
Okay.
And those IOUs eventually developed into what we now know as banknotes.
The gold market is so broken that the Bank of London had to fly in Idris Elba into their basements in order to get people off the scent that they don't actually have the gold that they claim that they do. And Peter Schiff will tell you that there's a future for a digitally tokenized gold coin.
Bitcoin is digital money, or money in the digital economy. I think that you can easily digitize gold. If you want to have money that you can transfer electronically, we can tokenize gold. Any company could do it the same way that banks or goldsmiths issued paper notes backed by gold. So people didn't have to lug their gold around. They could leave their gold with a blacksmith or then eventually a bank, and the bank would issue a note that represented ownership of that gold. The bearer of the note could go get the gold whenever they wanted, but they could also circulate the bill as a medium of exchange. And that's the beginning of currency. I mean, currency derives its value from the money that backs it up. And in the same way that we printed paper, we could create a digital token that would represent ownership of gold. So if you want to bring gold into the digital economy, that's the way to do it. And people can transact in gold online faster and far less cost than they could with Bitcoin, assuming anybody tried to transact in Bitcoin, but very few people do because it's very expensive and very slow and it's very volatile.
It's amazing that people still listen to this guy. You're telling me that people are going to go back to paper ledgers versus a 24/7 open and decentralized ledger for everyone to see. You're telling me that we're going to go back to an age of government where we don't have open and transparent websites about where all of our tax dollars are going and being spent. You're telling me that other countries are going to go back to the same playbook that empowered the Fed in the first place and had Ron Paul saying clips like this.
The Federal Reserve is the chief counterfeiter. It's fraud. If you and I did it, we'd be in big trouble.
In order for society to function in the internet age, we need open and transparent systems. Some people believe that that system will be a gold-backed system, and it won't happen. Some people believe that it will be a crypto token-based system. Well, here's a news flash. The largest crypto meme token ever created has a $21.7 trillion supply with no supply cap, one node, 25% has been mined in the last 6 months, and 1% owned the 30% of the pre-mines for this total token. And this token is the US dollar. People were getting hype about this clip between Joe Rogan and Adam Curry, talking about Joe Rogan is all in on Bitcoin.
Speaking of scamming, what do you think about shitcoins? Like, what's your take on like Haktua coin, and Melania coin, and
those are more meme
coin.
more meme coins.
Shit coins, right? Isn't that what a meme coin is?
So the only coin I believe in is Bitcoin. And we've talked about this before.
Right.
In fact, I looked it up, hoping you would bring it up. 2 years ago when I was here the last time, Bitcoin was around $40,000. Today, it's close to $100,000. This will continue to go up until we're long gone. It's very interesting. So I don't believe in shit coins at all, because if you have Bitcoin has no CEO, there's no one in charge of it. It's literally tens of thousands of people around the world who run these nodes that make it open and make it run and keep it at this 21 million coin limit.
I'm totally down with Bitcoin.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Good.
But I think the shitcoin thing is fascinating, that anybody can create a coin.
Yeah.
You know, like Jamie has a pull it up Jamie coin. I don't know if you know that.
Well, but
I did not make it. Don't put that on me. Do not.
It's out there now.
I mean,
now that you just said it, because we brought it up yesterday with the Boneyard guy, with John Reeves, and we said, you should have your own coin. Get it the Boneyard coin. And now apparently somebody made one.
So this is, you bring this up in context of scams, because they are scams. The way it works.
Trouble.
So if I wanted to make a quick amount of money, I'd have a shit coin and I'd have my bots ready and I'd say, hey, Joe, have you heard about my curry coin? And you'd be like, no, wait a minute. And it would come out and it would skyrocket. My bots would sell it. I would make a lot of money and it would be dumped right away. It's a scam over and over and over
But what
again.
if you don't sell it?
Yeah, then you'll have empty bits worth nothing.
But so it's only available for pump and dumps.
That's the only thing it's good for.
But you have to understand that the crypto scams are only good for one thing, and that's pump and dumps, booms and busts, the dollar and the current crypto markets. The most important clip of the conversation happens here. But before we show you the clip between Joe Rogan and Adam Curry, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Ledin. Ledin is the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans. Since 2018, they've just now surpassed $7 billion worth of loans to tens of thousands of customers, and they've never lost a single sat. They were the first digital lending company to do proof of reserves, and they do them frequently. The application process is simple. And it's because they use Bitcoin as the means of saying whether or not you are approved for your loan. Either you have 2 times the amount of collateral that you want to borrow or you don't. The application process takes less than a few minutes, and you can have dollar liquidity in your account in less than 24 hours. Go to ledn.io/borrowing in order to start your Bitcoin-backed loan process today. Unlock liquidity in your Bitcoin without selling your Bitcoin. Go to ledn.io/borrowing. Our second sponsor is the Bitcoin Way. The Bitcoin Way has team members that will show you how easy it is to privately, securely, quickly, and confidently verify that you own the Bitcoin that exchanges say you do by helping you to remove it from exchanges. Bitcoin, unlike gold, can be verified through the use of your private keys. People of their team will tell you exactly what this means and will help you secure your generational wealth the right way. Go to thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin in order to get a free 30-minute consultation with their team. That's thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin. Back to our show. Here's the most important clip from the Rogan and Curry conversation.
Now we get stable coins. This is a crazy, crazy thing that's happened. There's this. So a stable coin is a digital dollar. It's pegged to the dollar, so it's always a dollar. And you can pay with this through the internet, through apps and everything. It's already being used all over the world. The only reason it's worth $1 is because the stablecoin company that creates it, they have debt and paper to back it up. So they buy America's debt. They get treasury bonds or T-bills, which actually pays a dividend, so you get interest on that. And for each dollar they have bought in treasuries, they can create a stable coin. So if you look at the company Tether, they have bought more of the United States debt than most countries. They have $160 billion worth of U.S. debt, and for each of those dollars, they've created a stable coin, which now people can use all over the world transacting.
Whoa.
And what's their business? There's like 50 people in the company. So they have $160 billion at 4% interest annually. They're making bank just for holding this debt. So I think President Trump is very smart, and he's seen that we can flood the world with our stable coin, and you kind of get a 2-for-1. So you create $1 of debt, but then you create another dollar on top that can be used all over the world as the reserve currency.
The future of the dollar will be through stablecoins, USDT backed by Tether, and be issued on the Lightning Network, which is tied to Bitcoin. In this great post from Seb Buddy, you can see that the explosion in USDT on Lightning is just beginning. In December and January alone, there was $1.4 trillion worth of volume. Annualize that, that's $8.1 trillion. And if you look out, he says that this is going to lead to $5.1 trillion more of transactions happening on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's incorruptible money with fast, cheap payments built on top of it. Robinhood CEO talks about the possibilities of using stablecoins as a medium of exchange and to settle payments over the weekend, which you can't do right now, and you definitely couldn't do in a gold system.
One of the things that we have to do to operate our crypto platform is facilitate transactions and settlements between cash and crypto 24/7, particularly on weekends when the banks are usually not open and there's no way of transmitting dollars using banking rails on weekends. Stablecoins solve that problem because it's a 24/7 network that's running on software. And I think that just shows you just one of the advantages of crypto technology over the traditional financial system.
So what does this lead to? Well, it leads to Bitcoin backing the United States dollar and doing that primarily through USDT or stablecoins. Here's the big picture. Listen to this clip from Luke Roman and Preston Pish.
Things like Visa and MasterCard, are these types of payment monopolies or oligopolies then at risk of margin compression if JP Morgan can process payments far cheaper over the Lightning Network in some period of time? Is that the right way to think about this kind of a thing?
Far cheaper is such an understatement. Like, you are, by doing this on Lightning, right? You are literally taking the cost of a USD transaction to, it's de minimis. It's effectively zero.
Yeah.
Because it's less than a penny. It's way less than a penny. And the transaction size could be $5,000, right? And it's still less than a penny for the transaction to clear.
So game theory, JP Morgan would want to put some Bitcoin on their balance sheet in the context of what you discussed earlier, because then that will subsidize their ability to undercut the competition and move the volume on payment rails at some point down the road, in theory.
And the wild thing is we're just talking about tokenizing dollars on the Taproot Asset Protocol. Like you could literally tokenize Microsoft stock or Apple stock and have the same clearing mechanism. And so again, you're dematerializing in traditional finance is clearinghouses.
Clearinghouses and custodians.
Custody services, like all of it. Now, like think about like how does Robinhood make their money? Well, they take your shares that you own and they lend them out like behind the scenes in a rehypothecation scheme that they collect fees on. And then whenever you like sell that, then they have to get them back. And they're just looking at like, from a statistics standpoint, like how much can we rehypothecate without running into issues, right? That all and all these naive like retail investors, they don't understand that that's happening in the background and that their shares are actually being rehypothecated and money's being made on that. But think about this, like if you are creating tokens of Apple and I'm receiving those on my digital wallet, I actually hold those certificates. Like, and if I want to send you a share of Apple, I can do that instantly without asking somebody for permission for the actual stock certificate. That's kind of a big deal.
It's a potentially huge deal.
If you don't see it, you're probably like the director of government affairs who in an ironic situation said that he didn't see any misuse of government funds. And it's only ironic because he's actually blind.
Waste is different from fraud. Fraud is different from abuse, and abuse is different from both. When we talk about improper payments, they are a subset of those other three categories. But that doesn't tell us the whole picture either. Sometimes improper payments are a function of bad record keeping. Sometimes they are a function of outdated information technology systems. Sometimes they come about through human error, and sometimes they come about through negligence. There are a variety of reasons why improper payments happen. It just simply is not the case that improper payments are only a function of bad people doing bad things with bad intent.
That wasn't meant to poke fun at blind people, but the irony is striking. The future is obvious if you're willing to set aside your ego and look to see the future that is being built on Bitcoin. It won't be built on gold. We've already tried that for the last 120 years, and we failed miserably. What makes you think that the next 100 years on a gold-backed system will be any different? If you believe that Bitcoin and not gold is the future global reserve currency, then you're probably going to be like many of the other people coming down to Dallas, Texas for the BitBlockBoom conference from April 3rd through April 6th. Join me and some of your favorite speakers like Parker Lewis, Guy Swan, Marty Bent, and Bob Burnett as we talk about Bitcoin and its implications on the future of our financial system. You'll also get access with an all-inclusive ticket to workshops like how to buy my first Bitcoin or mine Bitcoin at home, and even meeting your favorite Bitcoiners in real life through parties like the Saturday Casino Night, which are going to be lit. Go to the BitBlockBoom.com and use the promo code BBB25 for $100 off your all-inclusive ticket. That's BBB25 for $100 off your all-inclusive ticket at the BitBlockBoom.com. If you get value from these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking.